Okay, so at this point, you should have tried 4, 5, and 6, and I think you've probably already discovered that you can drag out the answer, or you just, if you click the pencil, I can't do it right now. I mean, sorry, the little finger, the hand, you can drag out the answers to check your answers, but what I'm going to do is just walk you through how to get those answers. So that's where some of you may have questions. So for number 4, we're going to begin by going through our procedure. So first, do we have a radical? Well, absolutely. We have a radical. So I know my radicand cannot, oh, I'm sorry, must be greater than or equal to 0. So I know 2t plus 3 must be greater than or equal to 0. So then I solve for t. So I'll subtract 3 from both sides, and then I divide both sides by 2, and I'll get, let me put it over here, I'll get t is greater than or equal to negative 3 halves. So I can rewrite this in, let me put your domain is equal to an interval notation. It will be, we would start at negative 3 halves, and I have the square bracket because it's greater than or equal to, so we can include this number, and we go up to positive infinity. And I put the curve for positive infinity because we can't quite reach infinity. For number 5, let's go through our process again. So first of all, do we have a radical? No. Do we have a fraction? So yes, we do have a fraction. So in this case, and notice that unlike the other case, we don't have like a radical and a fraction. But in this case, we know that 2x, our denominator, cannot be equal to 0. So 2x plus 1 is not equal to 0. So we need to solve this, get x by itself. So let me make some more space, add a line here. So I'm first going to subtract 1 from both sides. So I'll get 2x is not equal to negative 1. And then I divide both sides by 2. So I'll get x is not equal to negative 1 half. So I know that x cannot be equal to negative 1 half. So I'm going to have to try to avoid it. So in my domain, I can have all values less than 1 half. So that will be from negative infinity up to, need a better negative sign, negative infinity up to negative 1 half. We can't include it, so it's curved brackets united with everything right above 1 half. So it's negative 1 half up to positive infinity. So everything below 1 half, everything above 1 half, we just can't have, I'm sorry, negative 1 half. We just can't have negative 1 half. So this will be my final answer. So here I'm going to have to use the union. For our last equation, make some room. So I'm going to check, do we have a radical? So yes, we do. So I know my radicand must be greater or equal to 0. So I'm doing some shortcuts here. So I know 3t plus 4 must be greater than or equal to 0. And I also know, and I check whether or not I have a fraction. I have a fraction too. So I know 2t, my denominator, cannot be equal to 0. So this is very quick. So divide both sides by 2, I know that t cannot be equal to 0. So I just went ahead and took care of that. And here I need to solve for t and get t by itself to get my inequality. So I know I subtract 4 from both sides, so 3t is greater than or equal to negative 4. And then I divide both by 3, so t is greater than or equal to negative 4/3. So I know it's going to be, my interval is going to be greater than negative 4/3, but it cannot be 0. So I'm going to start by writing my domain up. So my domain is going to start at 4/3, and I can include that. So I'm going to put a square bracket. So it's going to start at negative 4/3. It's going to go up until we get to 0, because we can't get to 0. We don't want to include 0, so I'm going to put a 0 there. And I'm going to put a u. And then I can have everything else above 0, so that's fine. So my next case, and I don't think that's going to write nicely. I think it's going to write in black. So I can put 0, comma, plus infinity. So it's going to keep going up. So now I have two cases. I have from -4/3 up to 0. I'm voiding that 0. That's going to make my denominator equal to 0. And then I have everything from 0 on up. So what I'm doing is avoiding 0 in this case. So now that I've gone ahead and demonstrated each of these, what I want you to do is go ahead and start answering the questions that come. So here, there's a series of questions. Again, you can check your answer by moving this little tab out, but you will keep going through. And just these two. So it's just two more questions for you to practice with.